Ladies and gentlemen, success is not an accident. It is the result of a clear vision, backed by consistent action and a refusal to give up in the face of setbacks. Everyone dreams of success, but only a few take the journey seriously enough to map it out. Today, I want to give you the blueprint, a practical guide that anyone can follow to reach extraordinary levels of achievement. Success begins with clarity. If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there, and likely nowhere fast. The most successful people are those who are absolutely clear about what they want and why they want it. You said, give me a speech and 8 key points of speech on the title, The Success Blueprint, a journey with Brian Tracy in Brian Tracy style, but did not mention him. ChatGPT said, sure, here's a motivational speech titled The Success Blueprint, a journey with Brian Tracy, written in Brian Tracy's signature style, clear, practical, and powerful, but without mentioning him directly. It focuses on personal development, goal setting, and self-discipline, just as he would deliver it. Speech. The Success Blueprint, a journey with Brian Tracy. Ladies and gentlemen, success is not an accident. It is the result of a clear vision, backed by consistent action and a refusal to give up in the face of setbacks. Everyone dreams of success, but only a few take the journey seriously enough to map it out. Today, I want to give you the blueprint, a practical guide that anyone can follow to reach extraordinary levels of achievement. Success begins with clarity. If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there, and likely nowhere fast. The most successful people are those who are absolutely clear about what they want and why they want it. Once you have that clarity, the next step is planning. Goals give you direction, but plans give you control. Write them down, break them into steps, review them daily. A goal without a plan is just a wish. Then comes action. Massive, purposeful, and consistent action. The world doesn't pay for intentions. It rewards results. You don't need to be the smartest or the fastest, but you do need to be the one who takes action every single day, without excuses. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. You must do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. Winners form the habit of discipline. It's not always easy, but it is always worth it. Along the way, learn relentlessly. Read, listen, absorb knowledge. Successful people are lifetime students. If you commit to learning one new idea a day, you'll be in the top 5% of your field within a few years. Surround yourself with the right people. Your environment will either push you forward or pull you back. Choose associations that uplift you, challenge you, and reflect the values you aim to live by. And finally, never give up. Persistence is more powerful than talent. You will fail. You will fall. But if you get up one more time and you fall, you will succeed. Period. So here's your blueprint. Get clear, get focused, get going, and keep going. Thank you. 8 key points of the speech. Clarity is the starting point of all success. Know exactly what you want and why you want it. Goals must be written, specific and time-bound. Without a deadline, there is no urgency. Planning turns your dreams into steps you can take daily. Break big goals into bite-sized pieces. Action is everything. Success follows those who take consistent daily action. Discipline builds character and results. Do what needs to be done, especially when it's hard. Commit to lifelong learning. Read, study, and grow every single day. Environment matters. Surround yourself with positive, high-achieving people. Persistence beats talent. Never give up. Your breakthrough often lies just beyond the next challenge. Would you like a slide deck version or a handout for this speech? You said, expand key point Noble 1 and make it lengthy in 8 paragraphs without conclusion and ending. ChatGPT said, absolutely. Here's an expanded version of key point number 1. Clarity is the starting point of all success. Developed into 8 detailed paragraphs in the spirit of Brian Tracy's motivational and practical style, direct, encouraging, and full of actionable insight. Clarity is the starting point of all success. Clarity is the foundation upon which all success is built. Without clarity, even the most talented individuals remain stuck, spinning their wheels in uncertainty. When you know exactly what you want, you direct all your energy, focus, and resources toward that outcome. It's the difference between wandering aimlessly and moving with laser-focused purpose. The first responsibility of anyone serious about achievement is to sit down and decide, what do I really want? Most people never take the time to think deeply about what success means to them. They adopt society's definitions, or they chase goals set by others. But true success is personal. It must be defined by your own values, your own passions, and your own unique vision. Clarity means stripping away the noise, the expectations, and the distractions, and getting brutally honest about your deepest desires. What excites you? What would you pursue if you knew you couldn't fail? The clearer your goals, the more confident and decisive you become. Think of clarity as a mental GPS. If you type in a vague destination, your journey will be long and confusing. But if you know the exact address, the path becomes obvious, even if it's difficult. Clarity eliminates hesitation, reduces wasted effort, and allows you to make quick, effective decisions. You stop second-guessing yourself because you know exactly where you're going and why. Clarity brings power. When you're clear on your direction, you tap into a deep well of internal motivation. Your energy increases, your productivity soars, and your mindset shifts from reactive to proactive. You no longer wait for opportunities. You create them. You no longer drift with the current, you become the current. That's the power of knowing precisely what you're after. Clarity must be written down. There is a special power in putting your goals on paper. Something shifts in your brain when you move from vague ideas to written declaration. You move from wishful thinking to committed action. A written goal becomes a contract with yourself. You see it, you feel it, and you remind yourself of it daily. The clearer your written goals, the more likely you are to achieve them. Clarity also helps you say no. In a world full of distractions, opportunities, and noise, knowing your goals allows you to confidently decline anything that doesn't align. Every yes to something unimportant is a no to something that matters. With clarity, your time becomes intentional. You make decisions faster, eliminate guilt, and focus your efforts where they count most. It's also important to review your clarity regularly. Life changes, you grow, your values evolve. That means your definition of success may shift over time. Set aside time every month or at least every quarter to revisit your goals and ask yourself, is this still what I want? Am I still heading in the right direction? Adjust as needed. Clarity isn't a one-time event, it's a continuous process. Finally, clarity is contagious. When you speak with clarity, people listen. When you lead with clarity, others follow. Whether you're building a business, leading a team, or inspiring your family, your clarity gives others confidence. People are drawn to those who know where they're going. They want to be part of a clear mission. And it all begins with you taking the time to define. You can have the clearest goals, the most detailed plans, and the best intentions. But without action, nothing happens. Action is the ultimate differentiator. It separates the dreamers from the doers. Success does not respond to what you know, what you believe, or even what you intend. It responds to what you do. The world rewards results, and results come only from consistent, deliberate, and focused action. Too many people get caught in the trap of preparation without execution. They plan endlessly, wait for the perfect moment, or seek more information before they feel ready. But here's the truth. You will never feel fully ready. Action comes before clarity. Progress creates confidence. And the best way to learn is not by thinking, it's by doing. Every time you act, you gain feedback. That feedback is what helps you adjust, improve, and ultimately succeed. There's no substitute for speed of implementation. The faster you act on your ideas, the more momentum you build. Successful people develop the habit of acting immediately when a good idea or opportunity presents itself. They don't wait for permission or for conditions to be perfect. They understand that imperfect action beats perfect inaction every time. If you want to win, you have to get moving, even if it's messy at first. The law of inertia applies in life just as it does in physics. An object in motion tends to stay in motion. The hardest part of any goal is starting. But once you take that first step, no matter how small, you trigger momentum. That momentum begins to carry you forward, often faster than you expect. The trick is to just get started. Write the first sentence, make the first call, go to the first meeting. One action leads to the next. Action is also a cure for fear. Fear grows in silence and stagnation. The longer you hesitate, the bigger your fears become in your mind. But when you act in spite of fear, the fear shrinks. Confidence is not something you wait for. It's something you build through courageous action. Every time you act in the face of doubt, you become stronger. Every time you take a risk, you grow. The people who succeed are not fearless. They are simply willing to act anyway. Another truth about action is that it creates opportunity. When you move, you expose yourself to chance, to people, to connections, to unexpected doors. Many people sit and wait for life to come to them, but life doesn't reward the passive. It rewards the proactive. When you take initiative, when you create motion, when you go out and engage with the world, it begins to respond, doors begin to open, people begin to notice, things start happening. Action is a habit. If you train yourself to take action quickly and regularly, it becomes part of who you are. You start to become known as someone who follows through, someone who gets things done, and that reputation creates trust, both with yourself and with others. You begin to build a track record of progress. And with each small win, your self-esteem grows, your belief deepens, and your results compound over time. Finally, remember that success is not one giant leap. It's a series of small daily actions that accumulate. If you commit to taking even one meaningful action toward your goals every day, you'll be amazed at where you are in a month, in 6 months, in a year. Massive success comes from massive action, taken repeatedly and relentlessly. Don't wait. Don't overthink. Do something now. Discipline is the master key to success. It is the ability to do what you should do, when you should do it, whether you feel like it or not. Every great achievement in life, whether in business, health, relationships, or personal growth, is built on the foundation of discipline. Talent is helpful, intelligence is valuable, but without discipline, they never reach their full potential. Discipline is what turns potential into performance. Discipline begins with small choices, waking up early, showing up on time, finishing what you start, sticking to your workout, saying no to distractions. These small acts of self-control accumulate. Over time, they create habits, and those habits shape your destiny. Success doesn't come from dramatic actions. It comes from small, consistent efforts practiced with discipline. Day after day, even when motivation fades. One of the greatest truths about discipline is that it creates freedom. While it may feel restrictive in the moment, discipline actually liberates you in the long run. When you're disciplined with your time, you gain control over your schedule. When you're disciplined with your money, you gain financial independence. When you're disciplined with your habits, you gain health and energy. Discipline today creates options tomorrow. Discipline also builds self-respect. When you keep promises to yourself, you prove that you can be trusted. This creates a powerful inner confidence. Most people don't struggle because they lack goals. They struggle because they don't follow through. But when you act with discipline, you begin to see yourself differently. You become someone who finishes what they start, someone who honors their word, someone who shows up strong, even on hard days. The biggest enemy of discipline is emotion, waiting to feel like it is a trap. Successful people don't rely on feelings. They rely on routines, systems, and commitments. Discipline means you act based on values, not moods. You don't let temporary emotions dictate permanent outcomes. When you develop discipline, you rise above excuses. You become driven by purpose, not by preference. There will always be temptation to slack off, to take shortcuts, to indulge in comfort. But each time you choose discipline over indulgence, you strengthen your willpower. Think of willpower as a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And over time, the things that once felt hard become automatic. Discipline starts out feeling like a burden, but it quickly turns into a source of power. You begin to crave the progress it brings. Discipline is especially critical when no one is watching. It's easy to perform when the spotlight is on, when there's pressure or recognition involved. But real discipline shows up in private, in the early mornings, the late nights, the quiet sacrifices. That's where champions are made. What you do when no one is watching determines who you become when everyone is. Finally, discipline leads to results. You can't argue with results. Discipline applied consistently to the right actions produces measurable, tangible outcomes. You get fitter, you earn more, you become more productive, you gain confidence, you improve your relationships. Discipline is not just about suffering or denial. It's about creating the life you want. Every great result in your life will be traced back to the disciplined actions that made it possible. A goal that is not written down is merely a wish. And wishes don't move mountains, goals do. The act of writing a goal turns a vague desire into a concrete target. It gives form to your ambition. It forces you to think clearly, to articulate what you want in a way that your mind can lock onto. When you write your goals, you are engaging both your conscious and subconscious mind, creating a clear message that says, this is important, this is real. Vagueness is the enemy of progress. If you say, I want to be successful, what does that mean? Success in what area? By when? How will you know when you've achieved it? A goal must be specific. Instead of saying, I want to make more money, say, I will earn $100,000 a year by December 3. That kind of clarity activates your brain's goal-seeking mechanism. It begins filtering opportunities, aligning resources, and drawing you toward that outcome. Specific goals are more than just numbers. They include the details that bring the goal to life. If your goal is to get fit, don't just say get in shape. Say, I will weigh 160 pounds, run a 7-minute mile, and train at the gym 5 days a week by October 1st. Now your brain has a picture to work with. The more detailed the picture, the stronger the motivation becomes. Specificity eliminates confusion and increases emotional engagement. Equally important is setting a deadline. A goal without a deadline lacks urgency. It encourages procrastination. Your mind thinks there's plenty of time, and so nothing happens. But the moment you set a date, your goal becomes real. It moves from someday to this day. A deadline creates focus. It drives you to act now. It becomes a line in the sand, something to measure progress against. Deadlines turn intentions into schedules. Written time-bound goals also provide a framework for measurement. What gets measured gets improved. When you know exactly what you're aiming for and when you want it by, you can track your progress and make adjustments along the way. You can break a large goal into monthly, weekly, and even daily targets. This creates momentum. It gives you small wins that build confidence and keep you moving forward. Another benefit of written goals is accountability. When you write your goals down, especially if you share them with someone you trust, you create a form of internal and external accountability. You're no longer just thinking about something, you're committing to it. This small act of commitment often makes the difference between stopping and starting, between drifting and achieving. Furthermore, the process of writing and reviewing your goals daily programs your subconscious mind. Your subconscious cannot tell the difference between what is real and what is vividly imagined. When you read your goals each morning and visualize them with emotion, your subconscious begins working to make them your reality. It sees them as inevitable. That's when coincidences start happening and opportunities begin to show up. Finally, written, specific, and time-bound goals build self-trust. Each time you write a goal and follow through, you prove to yourself that you can be counted on. This builds self-esteem and inner strength. Your confidence grows with each achievement. You begin to see yourself as someone who follows through, someone who wins. And success, as you will discover, is not something you pursue. It's something you attract by the person you become through goal setting and goal getting. Planning is the bridge between your goals and your reality. Once you've defined what you want with clarity and written your goals down with precision, the next step is to create a plan. Without a plan, even the clearest goal becomes a source of frustration. You know where you want to go, but you have no idea how to get there. Planning breaks the destination into manageable parts, giving you a step-by-step process to follow every single day. People often overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can do in a year with a plan. A well-thought-out plan takes the pressure off. It removes guesswork and saves energy. You wake up each morning knowing exactly what actions to take. There's no wasted time wondering what to do next. Planning conserves willpower and increases execution because your roadmap is already laid out. You simply follow it. Planning gives structure to your ambitions. A dream is exciting, but without structure, it fades quickly. A plan introduces structure through priorities, timelines, and sequence. You determine what needs to happen first, what can wait, and where your efforts will create the most impact. The ability to prioritize is one of the most valuable skills you can develop, and it begins with a good plan. You focus on what matters most and let go of what doesn't. The best plans are simple, actionable, and time-bound. You don't need to create a 50-page strategy document. Start with a list. Break your big goal into chunks, monthly goals, weekly targets, and daily actions. Each piece should lead logically to the next. Planning is like climbing a mountain. You don't leap to the summit, you climb one ledge at a time. And when you have the route mapped out, your climb becomes steady and focused. Planning also reduces anxiety and overwhelm. When you try to hold everything in your head, it becomes a mental burden. But once you put your plan on paper, your mind relaxes. You begin to see that your goal is not only possible, it's doable. Step by step, task by task, you regain control over your future. Planning transforms stress into strategy. A powerful tactic in planning is to use the reverse engineering method. Start with your end goal, your vision of success, and work backwards. Ask yourself, what must happen right before I achieve this? Then ask, and before that, keep working back until you reach today. This technique helps you uncover hidden steps and develop a realistic timeline. It ensures that your daily actions are aligned with your ultimate goal. Consistency is built into planning. When your plan includes daily actions, no matter how small, you develop habits that drive progress. Success isn't built in bursts. It's built in daily discipline. Even 30 minutes a day on a focused task, done consistently, will lead to major results over time. Your plan is your contract with yourself. It says, I will show up every day and do the work, no matter what. Lastly, planning builds momentum. Every time you check off a task, you gain a sense of achievement. That feeling becomes addictive. You start to trust yourself more. You feel progress, and that momentum carries you through tough days when motivation is low. With a plan in hand, you're not relying on willpower or inspiration. You're relying on a system, and systems beat moods every time. In a world that's changing faster than ever, the ability to keep learning is not a luxury. It's a necessity. Lifelong learning is what keeps you relevant, competitive, and mentally sharp. It ensures that you don't just survive in your field, but that you lead, innovate, and thrive. The moment you stop learning is the moment you stop growing. And in a fast-paced world, standing still is the same as falling behind. The most successful people are readers, listeners, students. They never assume they've arrived. Instead, they approach every day with a beginner's mindset, open, curious, and hungry for growth. They know that no matter how good they are, they can get better. And because of that attitude, they continue to rise while others plateau. Your mind is your most powerful tool, and learning is the sharpening stone that keeps it effective. The key to lifelong learning is intentionality. You don't leave it to chance. You schedule it. You create a habit around it, whether it's reading 30 minutes a day, listening to educational audio while you drive, attending seminars, or taking online courses. You make learning part of your daily routine. Every book, every podcast, every course is a stepping stone toward becoming more capable, more confident, and more successful. Learning gives you leverage. The more you know, the more you can do, and the faster and better you can do it. You solve problems quicker. You communicate with more clarity. You make better decisions. You seize opportunities others don't even notice. Knowledge multiplies your results and reduces your stress because you're equipped with tools that others lack. In a world full of noise, your wisdom becomes your advantage. Lifelong learning also boosts your adaptability. Change is constant, and those who cling to the old ways get left behind. But those who are committed to growth stay agile. They learn new skills, they update their thinking, they embrace change rather than resist it. And because of that, they stay ahead of the curve while others struggle to catch up. The ability to learn fast has become more valuable than ever before. Another benefit of learning is confidence. When you invest in your mind, you feel stronger. You carry yourself differently. You speak with more authority, more clarity. You trust your ability to figure things out because you've developed the habit of doing so. You know that whatever challenge comes, you can grow your way through it. Lifelong learning eliminates helplessness. It replaces it with empowerment. It's also important to remember that learning isn't limited to formal education. It comes through mentors, experiences, mistakes, and conversations. Stay humble enough to learn from everyone and everything. Ask more questions. Seek feedback. Reflect regularly. The best learners are also the best listeners. They know that there's always more to learn, and often the greatest insights come from unexpected places. Finally, lifelong learning keeps your passion alive. When you learn, you feel alive. You tap into a sense of progress, discovery, and potential. Life becomes richer and more fulfilling. Learning keeps you from becoming stale or stagnant. It renews your purpose, fuels your ambition, and strengthens your edge. The more you grow, the more you realize what's possible. And that realization is what keeps you moving forward. Your environment has a powerful and often underestimated influence on your behavior, habits, and ultimately your success. You cannot rise much higher than the standards and energy of the people and places you surround yourself with. If you're in a toxic or discouraging environment, even the most motivated individual will struggle. But if you place yourself in a positive, growth-oriented, high-performance setting, success becomes not only possible, it becomes predictable. You've probably heard the saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. It's more than a catchy phrase, it's a law of life. The mind absorbs attitudes, beliefs, language, and energy from those around it. If you spend time with high achievers who push themselves, who take action, who talk about goals and solutions, you will rise. But if you surround yourself with complainers, procrastinators, and excuse makers, you'll find yourself held back by invisible anchors. Evaluate your circle regularly. Who are you talking to every day? What are they encouraging you to do? Are they lifting you up or dragging you down? Are they challenging you or enabling your comfort zone? You don't need to be harsh, but you do need to be intentional. Choose to spend your time with people who reflect the values and mindset you want to grow into. Their energy will either sharpen you or dull you. Your physical environment matters just as much. The spaces where you work, live, and think affect your focus and productivity. A cluttered desk creates mental chaos. A noisy or chaotic space reduces concentration. But a clean, organized, and inspiring environment triggers clarity and flow. Design your space to support your goal, whether it's your office, your home, or your digital workspace. Optimize it for focus, not distraction. Environment also includes the inputs you allow into your mind. The books you read, the shows you watch, the podcasts you listen to, the conversations you engage in, they all shape your beliefs and perceptions. If you fill your mind with negativity, gossip, and low-level entertainment, you'll struggle to think big or act boldly. But if you feed your mind with empowering content, success stories, and strategies, you'll build a mindset of strength and resilience. Changing your environment doesn't always require a complete overhaul. Sometimes small shifts create big change. Spending more time at a local library instead of a noisy cafe. Swapping evening TV for an audiobook. Joining a mastermind group instead of hanging with friends who lack ambition. These small moves compound over time. You become the product of your environment. So design your environment to produce excellence. One of the fastest ways to grow is to get around people who are ahead of you. Find mentors. Join success communities. Attend workshops and events where high performers gather. When you step into environments where excellence is normal, your standards automatically rise. You begin to expect more of yourself, not because someone told you to, but because you've seen what's possible. Proximity to greatness pulls you forward. Ultimately, your environment either supports your success or sabotages it. Don't leave it to chance. Curate it, shape it, guard it fiercely. You have the power to choose who you spend time with, where you work, what you consume, and what you focus. Make those choices deliberately, because over time, your environment will either stretch you to your full potential or shrink you to fit into comfort and mediocrity. Success is not a mystery. It's not reserved for a lucky few or protected by some hidden formula. In truth, success leaves a trail. If you study the lives and habits of high achievers, you'll discover patterns, repeatable, learnable actions that you can adopt and apply. Instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, the smartest path to success is to model those who have already done what you want to do. Find out what works, and then do it consistently. Every successful person you admire, whether in business, sports, leadership, or personal development, started where you are. They faced uncertainty, setbacks, self-doubt, and fear, but they found a way forward. And in doing so, they left behind a roadmap. Books, interviews, biographies, courses, mentorships. All of these are treasure maps. The clues to their thinking, their systems, their strategies are right in front of you, if you're willing to study and apply them. Modeling is more than imitation. It's strategic learning. It means identifying the behaviors, routines, attitudes, and decisions that produce success for someone else, and integrating those into your own life. When you model someone, you skip years of trial and error. You collapse time. You bypass mistakes by learning from theirs. You make progress faster because you're walking a path that's already been proven to work. One of the most powerful steps you can take is to find a mentor, someone who's ahead of you, who has achieved what you want and who's willing to guide you. A mentor can save you time, energy, and frustration. They can offer insight you won't find in books and point out blind spots you didn't even know existed. Even if you can't connect personally with them, you can still learn by immersing yourself in their materials, teachings, and philosophy. It's also critical to model the inner game of success, not just the outer achievements. Study how successful people think. What beliefs do they hold about themselves and the world? How do they respond to failure? What disciplines do they practice daily? Modeling is not about copying someone's life. It's about learning how they make decisions, how they manage their emotions, how they stay focused when things get tough. You must also be willing to pay the price. Modeling someone means embracing their habits, and often those habits involve hard work, sacrifice, and delayed gratification. High achievers do what others are unwilling to do. If you want their results, you must adopt their mindset and match their level of discipline. There's no shortcut around this. Success is available to everyone, but it's earned through behavior, not just intention. Another key principle in modeling success is to adapt what you learn to fit your own path. Modeling is not cloning. You take what works and you make it your own. You align strategies with your strengths, personality, and vision. You stay authentic while still applying principles that work. Modeling gives you a foundation, but your unique touch will give it power. Success is both borrowed and built. Lastly, remember this: if someone else has achieved it, you can too. There is no success that is off limits if you are willing to study, model, and persist. Learn from the best. Follow the clues. Take the same actions. Develop the same mindset. Practice the same habits. And in time, you will experience the same level of success. Modeling is not magic. It's method, and it works if you. In the end, success is not a matter of luck, talent, or background. It's a matter of choice, commitment, and consistency. It's about taking full responsibility for your life, setting a clear target, and backing it with focused, relentless action. It's about building the discipline to do what must be done, even when it's hard. It's about investing in yourself every single day through learning and growth. Your environment, your habits, your thoughts, and your influences. These all shape your future. And when you surround yourself with excellence and model those who've already walked the path, you shortcut your way to results. Success leaves clues, and the blueprint is already there. The only question that remains is, will you follow? The principles we've covered today are simple, but not easy. They require courage. They require daily decisions. They require the willingness to act, to fail, to adjust, and to keep moving forward. But I can promise you this: if you apply them, not once in a while, but every single day, your life will change, your results will change, and you'll become the kind of person who not only achieves success, but sustains it. You already have everything you need inside. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect conditions. You just need to decide. Decide to follow the blueprint. Decide to live at your highest level. Decide to become the person you were meant to be. Because the journey to success is not a mystery. It's a mission. And now it's yours. Thank you.